Have you ever felt deeply cared for, yet somehow unseen, adored for what you provide, but not truly known for who you are? This is the subtle, often painful, difference between being respected and being merely needed. Some connections feel like destiny. He arrives with intensity, his attention making you feel like the center of his universe. You sense his hidden wounds, and your innate empathy wants to heal them. You become his sanctuary, the calm in his storm. But this dynamic holds a hidden trap. When a man is drawn primarily to your capacity to nurture, he isn't truly seeing you. He is seeing a reflection of what he lacks. He connects with you not as a whole person, but as a source of comfort for his unhealed parts. This is where many women begin to lose themselves, not in love, but in the role of the healer. There is something deeply ingrained in the feminine spirit that responds to being needed. It touches an ancient archetype, the nurturer, the source of solace. The tragedy is quiet but profound. In pouring her energy into his healing, she often neglects her own becoming. She becomes the container for his growth, while her own journey pauses. A man who primarily needs you will be drawn to your compassion, but may retreat from your strength. He will feel safe in your softness, but threatened by your independence. Your comfort soothes him. Your truth unsettles him. This happens because he has not yet learned to respect the full spectrum of the feminine. He seeks a haven, not an equal. He is looking for a caregiver, not a partner. Genuine respect, however, grows from different soil. It blossoms when a man has done his own inner work. When he has faced his shadows, his need for validation, his hunger for control, and has chosen to grow beyond them. Such a man doesn't need to dominate or impress. His sense of self is secure enough to sit comfortably alongside a woman's power. When he respects you, he doesn't require you to complete him. He meets you as a fellow traveler on the path of self-discovery. He sees your light and your depth and values both, because he has learned to acknowledge his own. The encounter of two whole personalities is transformative for both. A man who respects you welcomes that transformation. He isn't afraid of it. He doesn't cling to a static version of you or himself. But when a man only needs you, the dynamic is one of consumption, not growth. He takes what fills his emptiness, then often grows distant once his immediate hunger is sated. The relationship becomes a cycle of emotional withdrawal and return. He draws close when he feels hollow, pulls away when he feels full, and you, perhaps unknowingly, continue to give, hoping your generosity will someday mature into love. But it rarely does, because need is not love. It is dependency disguised as devotion. So how can you tell the difference? When you speak, does he truly listen, or is he simply waiting for his turn to talk? When you set a boundary, does he honor it? Or does he react with offense? When you share a dream, does he support it, or does he subtly undermine it to maintain his own comfort? These aren't just questions about romance. They are questions about consciousness. Respect flourishes where the ego subsides. Need dominates where the ego rules. Many women, raised in cultures that often prize sacrifice, confuse endurance with loyalty. They believe that staying through pain proves the depth of their love. But this often only proves the depth of an old wound. The child within who learned that to be loved, you must first be useful. That to be valued, you must serve. The moment you awaken from this trance is the moment you can finally distinguish between being cherished and being used. Respect feels like freedom. It allows both people room to breathe and grow. Need feels like captivity. It binds both in invisible chains. One encourages expansion, the other demands control. When a man respects you, he values your no as much as your yes. So, when a man truly respects you, he doesn't just love your kindness or your presence. He holds a deep reverence for your entire being. He feels inspired, not intimidated by your autonomy. And when challenges arise, he doesn't retreat into silence or manipulation. He remains present, because showing up is the ultimate form of honor. But when a man only needs you, your silence frightens him because it withholds his source of validation. Your strength threatens him because it mirrors what he hasn't faced within himself. He may praise you one day and withdraw the next, not for malice, but because his affection is tangled with fear. Yet, every relationship, whether rooted in respect or need, serves a purpose. The man who needs you highlights your own patterns of self-abandonment. The man who respects you reflects your wholeness. Both are mirrors. Both are teachers. There's a pivotal moment of awakening that often follows a certain kind of heartbreak. It's not the kind that shatters you, but the kind that clarifies everything. A woman sits in the quiet of her own realization and feels the profound ache of how long she has mistaken being needed for being respected. What fills her isn't bitterness, but a piercing clarity, the awareness that she has been performing love in the language of survival. She has given endlessly, hoping it would be enough to earn a lasting peace. But peace cannot be purchased with sacrifice. It can only emerge from truth. This moment is universal. It's the confrontation with the shadow, all the parts of oneself that were denied in the desperate pursuit of acceptance. She begins to see that her constant giving wasn't purely love. It was the shadow of her own fear of abandonment. The inner child who learned that love must be earned had been steering her adult heart. She remembers the times he needed her most, during his crises, his despair. She was the anchor, but when she needed him, his attention wandered. Not because he was malicious, but because he was unprepared. He hadn't faced his own pain, so he couldn't hold space for hers. He saw her strength as his salvation, but salvation is not partnership. It's the worship of a rescuer, and worship often curdles into resentment when the rescuer asks to be seen as a human being with her own needs. This is the core tragedy of bonds built on need. The very thing that initially binds them ultimately breaks them. Need is an adhesive made of fear. It holds tight until one person begins to evolve, and growth often feels like betrayal to the one who remains stuck. When she began to ask for emotional reciprocity, he felt abandoned. When she stopped managing his insecurities, he called her cold. In truth, she was simply stepping into her own sovereignty. Respect, in contrast, asked for something far more profound than dependence. It asked for awareness. For two souls to meet not as incomplete halves, but as whole beings seeking reflection. A man who respects a woman doesn't look to her for rescue. He looks to her for resonance. He admires not her willingness to carry his burdens, but her courage to walk beside him as an equal. The essence of a relationship is colored by the consciousness of the people in it. When one partner operates from fear, the bond darkens with control, jealousy, or possession. When both operate from respect, the connection shines with honesty, transparency, and inner fortitude. Respect grows in the spaces where truth is permitted without punishment. When she says, "I need space," and he honors it without retaliation. When she disagrees, and he doesn't take it as a personal rejection. When she succeeds, and he feels genuine pride, not competitive insecurity. It is in these subtle, sacred moments that a man reveals the structure of his character. Does he view love as a form of freedom, or as a type of ownership? Does he cherish her autonomy, or does he secretly resent it? The woman, too, must look at her own reflection. Respect is not only something to be received, it is something you must permit yourself to have. Does she believe she deserves it, or does she unconsciously sabotage it by accepting less, hoping time will change him? What we refuse to make conscious will manifest in our lives as fate. The partner she chooses, the pattern she repeats, the words she tolerates, they are not random. They are echoes of her own internal dialogue. If she hasn't yet learned to respect her own boundaries, she will attract those who test them. If she hasn't forgiven her past, she will attract those who reopen its wounds. Every man, whether kind or hurtful, becomes a character in her personal story, a guide leading her back to herself. When she learns to stand firmly in her own worth, she no longer mistakes intense attention for genuine affection, or dependency for devotion. The journey toward being respected begins long before the right man appears. It begins when she stops negotiating her value. Love without respect is just hunger dressed in poetry. It begins when she no longer feels the need to justify her boundaries, when she stops confusing chaos for passion and silence for depth. It begins when she realizes that a connection lacking respect is merely emotional hunger wearing a romantic disguise. And for the man, if he is willing, this is his invitation into mature masculinity. To respect a woman is to confront his own ego. It is to recognize that she is not a supporting character in his story, but the author of her own. It is to make space for her strength without feeling diminished by it. He must face the part of himself that once sought to be mothered rather than mirrored. He must look inward at his own feminine aspects and stop running from them. Only then can he truly love a woman without needing to control her. Only then can he stand firm in his own presence, without requiring her constant approval. Respect is the bridge between two self-realized individuals. Need is the tether between two unhealed wounds. And so the essential question is not only, does he respect you, but also, do you respect yourself enough to walk away from being needed and wait for being truly seen? Because respect starts in the mirror, not in the relationship. The love you accept is a direct reflection of the love you believe you deserve. When a woman finally internalizes this difference, when she feels it in her bones, something fundamental shifts within her. The first wave isn't anger, it's grief. Grief for all the years she poured her essence in a man who mistook her compassion for compliance. Grief for all the nights she spent over-explaining what should have been inherently understood. That love without respect is not love at all, but dependency in a clever disguise. This grief is sacred. It is the funeral for her old self, the one who believed her worth was measured by her usefulness. She starts to see how this cycle may have repeated through generations. Her mother might have done the same, and her grandmother before her. Women who built their identities around what they could give, rather than who they were destined to become. This pattern belongs to a deep, inherited conditioning. The archetype of the endless giver, when unbalanced, manifests as overgiving, rescuing, and self-sacrifice. The compulsion to fix those who will not fix themselves. But as consciousness expands, this archetype transforms. The endless giver becomes the sovereign woman who nurtures without losing herself. She knows that love, offered without self-respect, becomes self-erasure. She no longer confuses empathy with obligation. Her care becomes sacred precisely because it is a choice, not an expectation. In relationships, this shift is subtle yet powerful. When a man who merely needs her returns, perhaps with promises of change, she feels the old pull, the ache to save, the instinct to comfort. But now, something within her hesitates. It's not cynicism, it's wisdom. She understands that her compassion must now serve her truth, not his dependency. She can love him and still choose to walk away. She can forgive him and still honor herself. Respect, unlike need, does not demand constant proximity. It requires deep understanding. The man who respects her may not always agree with her, but he will never try to make her smaller. He will meet her strength not with fear, but with admiration. His love does not ask her to diminish. It asks her to expand. And this is where the journey often takes a spiritual turn. Because when she stops chasing external validation, the energy that once flowed outward begins to return inward. The very love she so freely offered others becomes the love she finally offers herself. This is the process of becoming whole, the integration of all parts into a conscious, complete self. The woman no longer seeks wholeness in another because she is cultivating it within. Her solitude now feels different. It's no longer lonely, it's fertile. She reconnects with her own rhythms, how she loves to think, create, rest, and dream. She understands that feminine power is not fragility. It is the capacity to hold life's beautiful contradictions within one's being, to nurture and to be firm, to yield and to stand unwavering. The men she attracts now sense this difference, even if they can't articulate it. Some will be drawn, others will be repelled. Those still lost in their own unhealed masculinity will find her intimidating because she cannot be controlled or possessed. But the man who has met his own shadow, who has faced his inner chaos, will see in her not a threat, but a reflection. He will recognize the sacred balance of respect. That true connection is not about need, but about resonance. For the conscious man, respect is not an act. It is a state of being. He listens when she speaks, not to craft a reply, but to understand. He doesn't fill her silence with demands for reassurance. He doesn't weaponize her emotions. Instead, he holds her truth as he would a sacred flame, carefully, reverently, aware that it can both illuminate and burn. And she, in turn, respects him not for his dominance or confidence, but for his willingness to be authentic, to admit fear, to express tenderness, to commit to his own growth. She doesn't mother him, nor does she compete with him. She meets him soul to soul, knowing that equality in love isn't about sameness, but about mutual presence. Together, they form a partnership that breathes. It doesn't suffocate in dependency, nor does it fracture under the weight of ego. Their love becomes a clear mirror where each sees not only the other, but themselves more vividly and truthfully. There is no longer a battle for control, because both have surrendered the illusion that love is about possession. In this kind of bond, respect becomes a sacred language. Every no is met with curiosity, not punishment. Every disagreement becomes an invitation to understand more deeply, not a threat to leave. Each person learns that love without respect is a mirage, but respect without love is merely empty formality. The true merging of souls requires both the warmth of deep affection and the strength of genuine reverence. When a man respects a woman, he honors the divine within her. And when she respects herself, she honors the strength within her. Together, they activate an inner alchemy of balance, a sacred dance of opposites that transcends simple romance. This is the path of awakening, not of fairy tales. It demands the death of illusion, the courage to face solitude, and the rebirth of authenticity. Those who walk it are forever changed. For once you have been respected, truly and deeply, you will never again settle for being merely needed. There comes a moment, after all the storms and awakenings, when the air grows still. The woman who once searched for validation in others' eyes now walks with a different cadence. Her steps are slower, but surer. Her gaze, once filled with a searching hunger, now holds a quiet knowing. She has met herself, and in that meeting, she has learned one of life's most profound truths. Love that begins in need will always end in loss. But love that begins in respect can never truly die. It only evolves, deepens, and transforms. This is not merely emotional recovery. It is the birth of the authentic self. The part that once craved approval and feared abandonment has softened. The hidden hunger to be chosen has been seen, acknowledged, and integrated. She no longer fears rejection because she no longer rejects herself. This is wholeness in its purest form, the reconciliation of inner opposites. She now understands the profound insight that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Every man she once called destiny was, in truth, a reflection of an unhealed part of her own psyche. The savior, the narcissist, the lost boy, all of them were showing her parts of herself she had not yet owned. But now that she sees them clearly, she no longer needs to replay the same story. She doesn't hate them or pity them. She thanks them, for they were her most challenging teachers, each one guiding her to this stillness, this self-respect, this sovereignty. To respect oneself is to never again abandon one's truth for the sake of connection. It is to remain centered, even when others cannot meet you there. It is to love without dissolving your boundaries, to give without betraying your own core needs, to walk away without closing your heart. This kind of strength isn't loud. It is quiet, rooted, and dignified. It doesn't need to prove anything. It simply is. In this new space, she relates to people differently. The man who truly respects her recognizes her energy before her beauty, her presence before her performance. He is not captivated by her ability to care for him, but by her ability to be fully and authentically herself. And because he is no longer afraid of his own emotions, he can truly hold space for hers. His strength lies not in dominance, but in unwavering steadiness. His love is expressed not by needing her, but by truly seeing her. Respect in a relationship isn't measured by grand gestures or eloquent words. It is measured by the consistency of one's presence. A man who respects you will not love you only when it is easy. He will remain grounded when you are upset, patient when you are quiet, and curious when you retreat inward. He will not punish your independence because he has found his own inner peace. He will not require your validation because he has confronted his own shadows and emerged from the darkness. And you, in turn, will no longer feel the need to shrink to feel safe. You will no longer confuse a lack of conflict for peace or intense attention for genuine care. You will learn to trust your own intuition again, that ancient, feminine knowing that speaks softly but never lies. It will whisper to you when a man's admiration masks a hidden dependence. It will tell you when "I need you" is not the same as "I honor you," and you will trust that voice because it was born from your own rebirth. Peace and love comes not from controlling another, but from mastering oneself. To love freely is to choose each other without chains, without manipulation, without fear. It is to walk side by side, knowing that either person could choose to walk away, yet both consciously choose to stay. This is the paradox of true intimacy. Its greatest strength is born from absolute freedom. In a world where so many confuse attachment for connection, this kind of love feels almost revolutionary. It isn't built on constant contact or performative acts. It is built on presence, deep understanding, and emotional honesty. It is two people who have met their own shadows, standing together without illusion. It is the profound calm that follows the storm. For anyone still caught in the cycle of being needed, there is hope. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every silence that once felt like rejection is an invitation to awaken. You are not unworthy because someone failed to respect you. You're being called to respect yourself enough to stop accepting crumbs when you deserve a feast. The lessons will repeat in new forms until they are learned. And once they are learned, everything changes. Not because the world becomes kinder, but because you have become stronger. When you stand in self-respect, you no longer chase after closure from others. You become your own closure. You no longer need to ask, "Does he respect me?" Because the way you live your life answers that question for you. The people who cannot meet you at this level of awareness will naturally drift away, as if your soul has developed its own immune system. And in their place, new connections will appear. Connections that are rare, profound, and reciprocal. This isn't a fairy tale ending. It is something better. It is the beginning of a life lived consciously, where love is not a transaction, but a mirror reflecting two souls who have finally come home to themselves. The woman no longer seeks to be understood by every man. She seeks only to remain true to herself. The man no longer seeks to be mothered. He seeks to engage with the world as an equal, whole, and unafraid. In this space, respect and love are no longer separate forces. They are the same energy expressed through conscious awareness. This is the essence of wholeness, not perfection, but a sacred balance. The beautiful tension between giving and receiving, independence and intimacy, self and other. And when you arrive at this place, you realize that being respected is not a reward you earn from others. It is your natural state when you live in alignment with your own truth. The relationships that endure are those that resonate with your frequency of integrity. The ones that fall away were never truly yours to begin with. They belong to the version of you who still mistook a desperate need for love. Now, the woman breathes deeply, and a gentle smile touches her lips. Not because she has found the one, but because she has found herself. That is the real love story, the one between the conscious self and the eternal soul. She no longer asks for respect from the world. She embodies it, and the world, at last, reflects it back to her. If this exploration of conscious connection resonated with you, please support the channel by liking this video and following Winds of Thought for more journeys into the human psyche.